Um, Today we are learning on how to write equations, which is 8th grade TICS 8.3a. Students need to know how to write equations. So let's look at problem number 1. There are 3 feet in 1 yard. Find how many feet are in 12 yards by writing an equation. So the first thing you have to do here is see what two things are you comparing, or what two things involve this kind of situation. So what you can see here is that you have feet and yards. So you are comparing the number of feet to the number of yards. Next thing is that we have to figure out which among these is the dependent variable and the independent variable. So since we know that in 1 yard there's 3 feet and in 2 yards there's gonna be 6 feet, then the number of feet will depend on how many yards you have. So therefore we can say now that feet here depends on how many yards you have. So feet here will be your dependent variable. And yard is going to be your independent variable. Okay, based on our previous lesson, we said that dependent variable will lie on the y-axis and independent will be your x values, or it's going to be on the x-axis. Okay, so now let's make up a chart so we know how to set up our equations. Let's have x on this side, y on this side. Now remember, x is your number of yards and y is going to be your number of feet. We know that 1 yard is 3 feet, right? 2 yards is 6. 3 is going to be 9. And so on and so forth. Now based on this one, how will you get the value of y if you know the value of x? So how will you get this if you know that? Based on this table, I can see that you can divide, or no, you can multiply 3 by 3 to get 9, right? So therefore I can say now that 3 times 3 equals 9. Now this 9 here is your y, which is the feet. This 3 here is your x, which is the yard. And this 3 here is your constant. It doesn't change. Therefore, based on this equation, I can now say that since 3 is my yard, this will be my x. Then I multiply that by my constant, which is 3. It's going to give me an answer which is in feet, and feet is in terms of y. Another way of writing this equation is y equals x times 3, or y equals 3x. So we have this equation and this equation here. So if I have 10 yards based on this equation, I can now say that if my x is 10, then the number of feet that I'm going to have is 10 times 3 would be 30, right? So that makes sense. If I have 100 yards, then I'm going to have 300 feet.